Our next speaker needs no introduction because it's me. Hi, I'm Krutika Thakkannanavar. Just a brief introduction about me. They say in India, you first get into an engineering college and then figure out what your passion is. Same story with me. I started my electronics and communication engineering. In between, I realized I have an eye for details and I really love designing stuff. And hence, I made a switch and now I'm a designer. After engineering, I tried hard to get into an elite design school, but I couldn't, fortunately, I guess. Then I took it upon myself to teach me some design, and I set out to look for work. Ever since, I've been working as interaction and experience designer at Zerodha for about a little over 5 years now. In this span, I've worked on numerous projects in Zerodha, fintech products. To go through a few, I designed the mutual funds platform, both mobile app and the web. Varsity, which is a market education platform. Here also, I designed the mobile app and the website. A website is a work in progress. I partly designed the initial designs for console, the back office. These are just a few projects that I've worked on, just to name a few. Yeah, I was content with all the work I was getting to do as a part of Zerodha until a little more than a year ago, my colleagues asked me if I would like to design a check-in dashboard for a FOSS project they were contributing to. And thus began my FOSS journey. I'll touch upon this a little later into the talk, like how I've been contributing to FOSS as a designer. Before that, when I was introduced to FOSS, I had discovered this whole new world, so many projects, so much to do. I had a rush of energy. I was seeing this plethora of opportunities, so many projects to design for. I was curious to know more about it and to contribute more. But all this rush, came to a halt when I started looking for projects to contribute to online. I went on to Google and looked for projects using all sorts of keywords, honestly. Except for a few random blocks, there was no way to find them. While it's easy for a developer, but as a designer, I found it really hard to discover FOSS projects to contribute to. Now that got me wondering, aren't FOSS project maintainers looking for design contributions? Don't their projects require design help, or are they ridiculously good-looking and usable already? If you are looking, how are you reaching out to designers? Are the designers endorsing enough that they're willing to contribute to FOSS? How can a designer go online and find these projects? This is the dilemma I've been in and have been trying to get out of. There is this massive discovery problem that needs to be addressed. Now, coming back to how I was introduced to FOSS and the projects I've been contributing to. My developer colleagues have been contributing to a few projects, and they have been reaching out to me every time the projects need some design help. The people around me have helped me discover these projects. This has been a very private affair, a close circle discovery, a matchmaking of sorts. This close discovery has worked for me, and I've been able to contribute to projects like our very own FOSS United website. I was part of the team that designed the website, the identity, and I also worked on the illustrations. The check-in system I was talking about, Robin Hood Army, I designed the check-in system and a few certificates for them. There's Internet Freedom Foundation website redesign that's happening. And yeah, it's a work in progress. This is a very recent one, the identity design for Indic Digital Archive. This also is a work in progress. Now, after having worked on a few FOSS projects, would I be willing to do more work? Yes. Why? Well, here's my reason. If it hadn't been for the FOSS contributions, this would have been my portfolio, happily doing fintech stuff. But now, it's this. My body of work is growing from not just fintech, just so many areas, and that stimulates me. I'll make more contributions to FOSS for this, for the creative stimulation that comes with building this body of work, for the love of design and good products. I look forward to working on and contributing to more complex and extensive FOSS projects. I look forward to design a full-fledged consumer software interface someday, if only I could discover it somehow online, or if one of you approached me to. Now, we as designers can help FOSS projects with branding, interface and experience design, style guides, user research, illustrations, iconography, and many more things, but these are just a few things to list. There's so much that can be done if we designers and developers can get together and work. But how do we find each other? This is from my recent search activity. For a developer to look for FOSS projects to contribute to is pretty easy and straightforward. So I tried looking for them the developer way. I went on to GitHub and searched for projects using many keywords. There was literally one repository called Open Design by Mozilla. Only this had some activity, and that too, the last issue created was in 2019. Then I tried to search using labels. This is an example. I looked for projects using the label Design Help. This label had only 111 issues, and the design here meant all sorts of design, like system design, software design, etc. In a situation like this, how do I precisely know which one is a FOSS project? And which one is precisely soliciting UI, UX, or a visual design help? And while I was in the middle of this activity, I had an idea. And yeah, presenting contrib hyphen design. The idea is to have a simple convention for soliciting design contributions on open source projects. Contrib hyphen design is an attempt, a probable solution to designer-contributor dilemma. My colleagues helped me set this up. It's a manifesto of sorts. It's available on contrib.design. Yeah. I propose that we use contrib-design as a tag, as a label in repositories, issues in GitHub, GitLab, in all the various forums and threads. There are designers like me willing to contribute to FOSS. Let me know about your project. Let them know about your project. Let the label serve as a beacon. Let us bridge this divide between developers and designers by making discovering projects a tad bit easier. Let us have more of design and designers inclusive forums. I also urge designers to advertise more on your pages that you're open to contribute to open source. Spread the word in your circles. I've been doing it in mine. Let's build some beautiful softwares together, beautiful products together, and a community that collaborates and contributes to FOSS. Thank you. Please remember to use the tag. Thank you, Krutika. That was a nice talk. Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot. Does anyone have any questions? 5 minutes.
Hi,
Hi,
that was nice talk.
thank you.
How one non-experienced, like beginner who is getting into corporate industry, how they can contribute more, or how they can get started with this design industry?
How can a beginner
Yeah,
get into design?
yeah. I mean, they have the knowledge, they have the experience, they have the skill set, but then they don't have the actual experience to showcase to the company, or to like, how do they get started?
Uh,
What does the contribute this community, or what does this do? Contribute design.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the last thing that you said.
Contribute design, that you have a website, right? What does this do particularly?
What
For,
does it?
what does what does this do particularly for designers?
It's just a manifesto. I've just listed what the label is.
Okay.
This is, I'm not trying to collect a database of designers of sorts. This is just a way to tell people that your project requires a design help. And to answer your previous question, the best way for anybody to get into design is by doing a lot of projects. Like, come up with a product in your head. This is how I started. Come up with a product in your head. Uh, Try to design it. Make wireframes. Try to have an entire flow. Figure out where you're going wrong. If the flow is right, wrong. If it's breaking somewhere, design the entire thing and see and present it. Make mock-ups, present it to people and ask their feedback. Yeah, basically just do projects.
Thank you.
I think we have time for one more question.
So you said, nice talk, thank you. You said you worked on a few of these open source projects over the last year. And prior to that, you had no experience contributing to FOSS projects. So as a first-time FOSS contributor, and kind of an outsider, unfortunately, designers are outsiders still to the FOSS community. It's unfortunate. How was that experience? How has that experience been? You know, the 4 projects that you contributed to. Just your personal view as an outsider who's now an insider.
Um, I honestly, I still don't think I am that much of an insider in a FOSS community. I think there still is a lot of divide there. Maybe eventually that will just come closer and, things get better and the collaborations are better.
Hello. My question is kind of related to what Naz also asked. Here there are two parts of the system, right? There are projects that should need design help, and then there are designers. Uh, so I assume that there aren't many designers who are aware that they should be contributing, or they could contribute to open source, and there's also like this demand which is not apparent right now. Like the people who are building the software, they're not thinking that they need designers. So which part do you think needs the solving first? Like otherwise, it would become a chicken and egg, right?
First, uh, part of your question, I don't think designers are aware of FOSS, honestly. Only when I was told to, contribute is when I actually understood what FOSS is. And here I am volunteering and doing all this. So yeah, I think it should happen either ways. Like, if you start, as a developer, if you start seeking help as a designer, we'd know that, um, there are projects like this. Otherwise, usually how it is for a designer is you just go on sites that, like freelancing sites where they list out, it's just design, design, design. This project needs design, this project needs design. Nothing about programming or nothing about the product is really mentioned. So I think it should happen both ways, like designers being more aware of projects like these, products like these, and developers approaching designers. Yeah, I think that's it. We'll break for tea now. We'll be back in 15 minutes.